Coming up on Fulton Today, the District Attorney's Office honors the first person with autism to serve as a Fulton County grand juror.
The first Board of Commissioners meeting of the year contains more discussions about the county's 2019 budget as its adoption deadline approaches. I'm Brian Robinson, and I'll have more on this story coming up.
And we'll take a look at how these cold temperatures could cause major injuries to our senior population. That and much more starts right now on Fulton Today. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Fulton swears in its re-elected commissioners and then get down to the business of the government. That business included everything from budget talks to the expectations at the state capitol this legislative session. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now with more on this story. Brian?
Shania, this is the week that state legislators get down to business and Fulton commissioners approve their lobbying team. But those are just some of the agenda items that were included during the first BOC meeting of the year. The day began with the official oaths for the board's re-elected commissioners. Chairman Rob Pitts, Commissioner Lee Morse, and Commissioner Marvin Arrington, who were sworn in by probate judge Pinky Toomer, and Commissioner Liz Hausman, who was sworn in by Superior Court Judge Craig Swall. And as soon as the ceremony was over, the first meeting of the year began, and the agenda was packed, including discussion on the 2019 proposed budget. It was a unanimous decision to continue working on the 2019 spending plan before the county budget is approved.
We've made some recommended amendments to that, which was submitted to the board last Friday. And since that point in time, we've received a few more communications from various board members regarding some additional changes, all of which I believe has been communicated to you. But
the Chief Financial Officer reviewed the latest proposed budget with commissioners, complete with a number of new amendments.
And I will make it crystal clear that anytime you add something, you must take from someplace else.
So far, the plan calls for $1.1 billion overall, with over $700 million in the general fund and the rest allocated to a number of special funds, including Special Services District, 911, and the Airport Fund, to name a few.
I also need some more time before voting on the budget.
But commissioners say they have heard from their constituents, and they too have a wish list based on those residents' needs.
We always have something to amend, you know. And this year, when we asked the county manager and his staff to submit their recommendations, I think we certainly can understand why it might take a little more time for this board to make a decision.
The bottom line is, yes, we do want the taxpayers to have what they want and what they need. And every member up here was elected by a taxpayer, a voter. And we are here to do what that taxpayer or those taxpayers want us to do.
Some commissioners were looking to make cuts even if it meant it came out of their own budgets.
If you could reduce my travel budget by $45,000, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
So the commissioners have more days to ponder the plan before they have to approve the budget by law.
But the budget itself does not have to be approved until the second meeting in January. So you have today and the 23rd as an opportunity to adopt the budget.
And commissioners are open to hearing from even more residents during the public comment section during the next meeting. Again, that meeting takes place here in Assembly Hall on Wednesday, January 23rd, beginning at 10 a.m. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thank you, Brian. Meanwhile, Fulton's Board of Assessors meet for the first time in 2019. Tax Assessor Dwight Robinson and the board received an update on the county's legislative agenda that includes a reform and a review of property and sales tax. Fulton County is seeking to streamline the property assessment system and simplify the homestead exemption process. The board also discussed the 2019 tax digest, but before attending to that, they addressed some old business.
We plan on having our appeals worked through from 2018 here shortly. We're on target to get them out of the way before we attend to our 2019 digest.
The board chair says that the assessor's office is positioned to ensure residential and commercial values meet the statistical averages that are required of them. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office is already marking a first this new year, and it is one that is special.
Malcolm rocks.
The DA and his team welcomed the first ever person with autism to serve on the Fulton County Grand Jury. Meet Malcolm Woodson, who reported for duty with his mother and extended family in tow to celebrate his public service.
Half of the adult artistic community that they are not employed, they're not working, and they're not participating in the normal activities of this country. So when we found out that Malcolm was on our grand jury, that he was serving faithfully, we wanted to do something to show him our appreciation, and we're hoping that it will send a message to all of the young people who are suffering from autism and let them know that their dreams are possible if they just continue to work at them.
I think he started in November, and they picked him. He didn't ask to do it. They just picked him. He came home and said, "Mama, they swore me in." And I was like, "Who swore you in?" And he was like, the grand jury. I said, "The who?" I said, "You was only supposed to do one day, you know." And next thing I know, he said, "Well, I got to go all the way to January 4th.
Representatives from Autism Speaks Georgia and Atlanta Autism Consortium also came to the courthouse to support Malcolm on this historic day.
Malcolm is a huge inspiration to hear all that he's accomplished and all that he continues to dream and to continue to accomplish, and was so excited to receive, the email from the DA's office that they were going to be recognizing him today, and to hear that he was, the first autistic grand juror to serve is amazing, and he's really embodies everything of our organization about raising awareness and acceptance of autism.
It's a great experience for me though, because it makes me because I'm thinking about that I want to go into law enforcement field just by having this experience though.
And as an added bonus for showing up for his grand jury duty service, District Attorney Paul Howard also named Malcolm as an honorary Fulton County Assistant District Attorney. Way to go, Malcolm. Well, some future leaders discover how the Sheriff's Office is doing its part in making the community a better place. Leadership Atlanta brought nearly 100 of its prospective newest members to the Fulton County Jail for a tour. The tour consisted of a visit to the intake unit, the medical unit, and a couple of the housing units. The purpose of the tour was to expose the group to the services the jail and its staff offer to inmates as well as the community, something the Leadership Atlanta tour group was surprised to learn.
I think a lot of people were surprised that we do all the things that we do here in a jail setting, that we are concerned with the plight of the mentally ill, and that we're trying to do everything we can to reduce that population here, that we're concerned with the fact that we have so many young people here, and that we're running programs to combat their reoffending as well, and that we do all that we do with the resources that we have on hand. I think they were really surprised that we're able to do this.
As a civilian, we don't know those things, and so it's great that counties like Fulton County are really doing their part in trying to take care of the total inmate.
Leadership Atlanta equips leaders with the skills and knowledge needed to be an effective leader. The Fulton County Jail offers tours to similar organizations at various times of the year. A popular program at the jail that helps better the lives of inmates and rescue shelter dogs makes its triumphant return in 2019. FGTV's Daryl Carver has more on the story that affects man and his best friend.
In a place where emotions are rarely expressed, on this day, these Fulton County inmates couldn't help but let their emotions get the best of them. This joyous occasion, attended by Fulton County commissioners and jail staffers, is the graduation ceremony for the Canine Cellmates Project. The initiative is entering its 6th year at the Fulton County Jail.
We've saved 127 dogs and put over 350 men through our program. We're gaining momentum on a daily basis now, and I think it won't be long before we expand into another facility as well.
Canine Cellmates is a program Sheriff Ted Jackson has been a proponent of since day one.
This is probably a high point of the Sheriff's Office.
The goal of K9 Cellmates is to positively change the lives of the inmates and the dogs who were rescued shelter dogs from Fulton County Animal Services. During the 8-week program, each inmate has the opportunity to train and bond with his assigned dog.
It showed me a lot of patience. It teaches positive reinforcement, and you know that's a skill that I really plan on using outside of here so that I don't come back here.
For the inmate, the training exhibits responsibility and accountability. As for the dogs that graduate, they're adopted by a forever family. The jail also benefits. According to K9 Cellmates' website, research shows there's been a dramatic decrease of violent outbursts in prison and jail facilities where jail dog programs operate, sometimes as much as 50%. Repeated habitual crime rates have also declined, which is a major deal since Metro Atlanta has one of the highest recidivism rates in the United States.
And just sitting up in Fulton County Jail, you're just sitting in the cell all day long. You have nothing to do, so when you come over here in a program like this, you get a chance to feel productive, feel needed and useful, and feel that you're doing something constructive. At the end of the day, you can look back and say, well, I achieved something positive.
Now that these inmates and dogs have graduated, each hope to make a positive impact as they enter the next phase of each of their lives. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Daryl Carver.
And coming up next on Fulton Today, the commissioners who took their oaths of service publicly expressed their gratitude. We've got that story in our district-by-district coverage next. Well, as we mentioned earlier in the show, 4 Fulton County commissioners officially took their new oaths of service for another 4 years. And Fulton also says thank you to Governor Nathan Deal. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. Just before Fulton commissioners began the first board meeting of the year, 4 of the newly re-elected commissioners pledged another 4 years of service.
But I'm pleased to have been elected to serve. I completed the unexpired term of my predecessor and now beginning a full 4-year term. Excited to do so, excited about Fulton County, excited about what we accomplished last year working with my colleagues, and I am proud to say that we have in Fulton County a very hard-working board of commissioners. You don't read a lot about us in the paper, but we are in fact working very, very hard behind the scenes, and that's a good thing when you don't read a lot about us in the paper. This is going to be a very exciting year for us. It's going to be a very exciting term, 4-year term for us. And under the leadership of our manager, Dick Anderson, and the team that he's put together, a very diverse management team that really gets the job done, managing some 5,000 employees who call Fulton County their place of employment. They may not all live in Fulton County, unfortunately, but they do work very hard for you. So I'm just delighted to serve in this capacity for another full 4-year term. And as always, my door is always open. You don't need an appointment to see me. And I always end my remarks and sometimes even begin. Believe me, Fulton County, Georgia is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you most of all, though, to the citizens of District 1 that have sent me back one more time to be this commissioner, to serve as the commissioner for Fulton County. I cherish the trust that has been given to me, and I pledge that I will represent you to the best of my ability and make sound decisions, if at all possible, and work to bring good government to Fulton County.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be chosen by his or her friends and neighbors to represent them in government. And so I take this honor very seriously, and I'm glad to be here for another 4 years with this incredibly talented and diverse Board of Commissioners, and thank you all for being here.
In one of the courses that I took as part of the Association of County Commissioners of Governors, we learned that there are basically 2 functions of government. Number 1, to do good, and number 2, to serve others. And so I'm happy to be able to continue along the path of doing good and serving others in Fulton County.
Meanwhile, we also want to share with you the Atlanta and Fulton farewell to Governor Nathan Deal. Commissioner Liz Hausman joined the City of Atlanta's mayor and council in saluting the governor for his service to the state.
That under your thoughtful and measured leadership, your legacy is going to be a hard one to follow. You have contributed so much to the success of our state. And right here in Fulton County, on behalf of the 1.1 million people in Fulton County, the evidence is so noticeable.
If we can work together, we can do great things for the people that all of us in elected office are here to represent. There are a lot of things that we can do and have a common goal and common interest in. And that's what we have tried to do over the last 8 years, and we have seen huge benefits from that.
Governor Deal served 2 terms in the state and worked with both the city and the county on numerous initiatives. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And still to come, keeping senior citizens safe during these cold winter months. We'll share some important tips when we come back.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Fulton employees answer the call to help those in need. The Fulton County Government Center was the place for the blood drive in the atrium of the Government Center. Employees and citizens took time out of their busy day to roll up their sleeves and help the Red Cross replenish its blood supply.
This was my first opportunity since summer to give blood, and I gave double platelets, and they say that it is most valuable because I also have zero-negative blood type.
The Red Cross says blood donations are critical during this time of year due to winter storms and extreme low temperatures. And when the temperature drops, house fires tend to rise. Now, having a donation drive such as this ensures that blood remains available for vital medical treatments and unforeseen emergencies.
We're here just to save lives, collect pints, and the people that need of blood, we're just taking the blood from them.
For those who donated their blood, they received a free t-shirt. Now, to find out how you can donate blood anytime, you can just log on to redcrossblood.org. Studies are showing a direct link between cold weather and injuries experienced by senior adults, especially falls. So, what can be done to avoid harm to our loved ones? Here now with some helpful information is the Deputy Chief of Health and Human Services, Dr. Pamela Rochelle. Dr. Rochelle, good to see you again on Fulton Today.
So glad to join you today.
All right, so let's talk about this. How exactly do the winter months and safety affect our senior population?
So for a variety of reasons, seniors have decreased vision and hearing, as well as their senses for smell, and their balance can be compromised due to a chronic condition or a recent illness, and just some of the other factors that come along with aging.
And can you speak now to how changes in the senses impact senior adults during these winter months?
So one sense that I really want to have our viewers pay attention to is the sense of smell. And one reason this is so important is for many seniors, their sense of smell is often compromised. So they are unable to smell prolonged burning or something that might go awry with the fireplace. The other reason that this is so important for seniors is because if they're unable to smell a fire burning outside of the fireplace that was caused by the fireplace, many times their poor mobility makes them really compromised in getting out of the home in cases of a fire. So the sense of compromised smell along with poor mobility really can be a recipe for disaster.
And tell us about some other safety steps seniors can take when heating their homes.
So another method for heating the home during the winter months, many seniors like those space heaters. And so you really should make sure that you have a UL safety listing on your space heater. The other issue that we see is seniors often use that heater for other things. So you shouldn't heat your coffee, you shouldn't heat food on the heater, and you definitely should not dry clothes on the heater. So really only using that heater what it was intended for. And finally, making sure that you get your heating system in your home inspected, whether you're using gas or electric heat, making sure that you have someone come out and check the thermostat to ensure that it is operating properly.
And we mentioned falls. Any steps that seniors can take to avoid falls during the winter months or any time for that matter?
Injuries to falls are one of the major issues that send older adults to the hospital annually every year. So again, seniors really should pay attention to all of the trip hazards that can be created by slippery surfaces due to weather conditions, really making sure that you pay attention to cords that are associated with heaters, and electric blankets is one of the other items that we see used quite often during the winter months. So really just being aware of your surroundings and making sure that you have proper lighting in the home and that you keep those cords out of your walkways or have them taped down properly so that they don't cause an unfortunate slip and fall accident.
Always great information. Dr. Pamela Rochelle, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me today.
Up next on Fulton Today, Fulton County celebrates its new look with employees and citizens. Stay with us, everyone. Well, a new exhibit displays the talents of some local artists. The Fulton County Arts and Culture's Public Art Program officially launched its Fine Art Acquisition Program exhibition during an opening ceremony in downtown Atlanta. Now, this exhibit features 114 pieces of art created by 81 Georgia-based artists.
The Fulton County Acquisition Program came about as a result of funding that was supported by the Board of Commissioners and approved by the Board of Commissioners, part of our Percent for Art legislation that provides funding for artists and arts organizations in public places.
The Fine Art Acquisition Program acquires art from Georgia-based artists through Fulton County's Percent for Art, which has invested over $200,000 into the Georgia arts community.
This partnership was very organic, seeking synergy in downtown entities, and Fulton County, of course, is in the heart of the city. So we started chatting about opportunities to bring more art and culture to downtown, and we had space, they had the artists and the content, and we made it happen.
So this is my actual first piece to ever be put in a gallery. So I'm so encouraged and just inspired that Fulton County would give me this opportunity.
Now, this exhibit will be on display at 86 Pryor Street through January 25th, Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 p.m. And afterwards, the artwork will be installed in 14 libraries currently under renovation throughout the county. Well, Fulton County is officially using its brand new look. Well, to celebrate, Chairman Rob Pitts and County Manager Dick Anderson joined the Department of External Affairs team by welcoming employees after the holiday break. They were surrounded by life-size banners of the county's new logo. The specially formed welcome committee invited the workers to partake in some coffee and some sweet treats and pose for pictures.
It's a pleasure to see that this morning. It's great to start off the new year seeing some friendly faces this morning.
There's a lot of change planned for 2019. It'll be very positive from a citizen perspective. So we hope employees likewise will feel energized and confident about the Fulton County as they see these changes.
And to continue the new branding celebrations, a ribbon cutting ceremony was held for the opening of the new Information Center. Located on the first floor of the Government Center, the Information Center provides a number of services in one central location during regular business hours.
From the information desk, they'll be able to get informational and directional services. We actually provide notary services. We actually have a system here called the Ubi Duo machine that will allow us to converse with our hearing impaired citizens. And we'll actually be able to do some self-serve services for our citizens through our self-serve center that's offered here. So we're looking forward to everything that we could do to help our customers.
Fulton leaders say opening the Information Center sets the standard for quality of customer service delivered by a government agency. During its first week of operation in the Government Center, over 800 visitors took advantage of the services the center offers. One-stop shop. Well, before we go, our reminder that FGTV wants to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. And you can watch a replay of this show and any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.